Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video will contain spoilers for the Frank Miller, Brian Azzarello comic, Batman, The Dark Knight, Master Race. This video may also contain discussions and/or images of violence, sexual situations, and drug use. Viewing beyond this point is a choice you have made, and you take responsibility for that choice. Thank you, and please have a nice day.
Hello and welcome to this video. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's having fun. I hope the universe is treating you good. In this video, we are continuing our journey into Frank Miller and Brian Arizona. Gotta learn how to talk. Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello does not want to deal with that word now. Batman, The Dark Knight, Master Race. Where we left off was Wonder Woman kind of being pissed at the fact that her and her daughter are supposed to be having a training session, and the daughter kind of fucked off. So Wonder Woman is not happy. The Laura Kent, who is the Batman and Wonder Woman's daughter, is 16, 17 years old, pubescent, dealing with puberty and being half Kryptonian, half Amazon, and dealing with all that. Plus having a very, very narcissistic, ego-driven belief that she's superior to the other the Earthlings. She believes she's superior to them. It has overtones that are just scary. So she decides she's going to go find her father. And she finds him in the Fortress of Solitude. He has encased himself in ice. It's kind of hibernation, just kind of chilling out in the world. Quite literally. And what she hears noises like voices and stuff. And she follows him to Kandor, the bottled city from, well, it's been a mainstay in Superman mythology for almost ever. Probably a few days short than ever. And basically she's talking to them and finds out they just want to get out. They want to be free. They want to experience life the same way that she and her father do. And she's like, hey, how can this go wrong? So she gets a hold of the atom. She's Dr. Palmer. And he's like, well, me and your father tried this once and it ended badly. she's like, no, 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 we've got the Candoran scientists who've been working on it too, and you guys can get together, because Palmer can shrink himself, and he's kind of the DC Universe's Ant-Man. So he's like, yeah, this is a pretty good idea. How can this go wrong? And they eventually work it out to where they get it worked out where the Kryptonians can be brought to full size and released from the bottle. And everyone's like, hey, this is cool, how can this go wrong? And there's a reason why I keep repeating that sentence. So they release some of them. They get about 1,000 or so out. And the ones they let out and bring to full size are actually a cult. A very twisted, very bizarre, fanatical, polyamorous, some more Frank Miller influence there, polyamorous group. And their leader is a man named of Baal. B-A-A-L. Baal. I like pronounce it. You can pronounce it Baal, I guess. Baal. And actually, no, I got that wrong. I read my notes wrong. Their leader is Quar. Q-U-A-R. Quar. And he's their leader, and first thing he does is he picks up the remaining inhabitants of Kandor in the bottle, throws it up there, and destroys it. Yes. So yeah, and they are not. Palmer has just realized he screwed up. Meanwhile, Laura, on the other hand, has drunken the Kool-Aid. She has drunken it deep. She's drunken gallons and gallons of this Kool-Aid, and is in the belief that the Kryptonians should rule over the Earthlings. They go to the leader of the cult, that goes to kill Palmer. Palmer shrinks down and makes it appear as if he gets killed. Palmer at this point is trying to figure out how to basically unfuck this mess. And like I said, the Laura has drunken deep of the Kool-Aid. So they go about taking over the world. The only problem is they don't understand or fathom how apathetic the world is, especially America. He has these special pills that the Kryptonians can take, and it basically turns them into high-yield nuclear weapons. And the first thing he does is he takes out Moscow. And the rest of the world's like, okay, whatever. Which really throws him for a loop. we switch back to Carrie Kelly, and we find out that Bruce Wayne is alive. Bruce Wayne is crippled like hell, but he's still alive. He's got, braces and mechanical aid and all kinds of stuff because, let's face it, he's 60, possibly 60 plus years old. His body's been beat. He's given out his share of ass kickings, and so yeah, he's not 100%. And he's seeing what's going on, so he starts rallying the troops. The Kryptonians take out Flash, but the Flash gets rescued by the Bat Boys, who are still around. They were introduced as the Bat Boys in Strikes Again, and were basically the reformed mutants and other gangs from Dark Knight Returns. And so they bring him in, and because of the extent of his injuries, Barry Allen's, even at super speed healing, is kind of to the side. He's kind of, sidelined. But they hook him up because he can do computer stuff. He's good on computers, and he can search for data and do stuff just, at super speed to help everyone out. And by this point, the Kryptonians have basically they broadcast into the United Nations and basically say, look, we will destroy and kill everyone on this planet if we have to, or you can bow down and worship us and soothe our egos, and we won't, and love us, and we'll love you, and all the things that deranged dictators come up with. And basically Batman shows up, and Batman's like, fuck you. So the Kryptonians decide they are going to declare war on Gotham. They're like, oh, Batman, you want to play? All right, we'll play. Batman's like, bring it. And he gets, and while this was going on, or before this happened, when Batman was realizing what was going on, him and Carrie Kelly go to the Fortress of Solitude and convince Clark he needs to help them. Actually, it may have been after. Yeah, it's right around the same time. And Clark's just sitting in his little ice tomb, just chilling, quite literally. And finally, Carrie's like, "Screw this dude. We gotta do this our own. He don't care. He don't care about us. He don't care about, his people are getting ready to fuck us, and he don't care." And about that point, because Superman's super hearing, breaks out of the ice, says, "What? What are my people doing?" And they brief him. And they're going, look, they're getting ready to waste to Gotham. And they're like, okay. They're like, well, how do we, I'm only one Kryptonian, there's a bunch of them. Batman's like, chill, we got this. I've got this. I've got a plan. Remember, billionaire, trillionaire here. I've got a plan. We got this. So they get to Gotham. The Kryptonians are there. People in Gotham are riding, doing their half of them want them to turn Batman over to the Kryptonians. The other half want to fight, and it's a dumpster fire. The entire city of Gotham is a dumpster fire. So the Kryptonians show up, Batman shows up, and it starts to rain. What had happened is one of Bruce Wayne's plans for dealing with a rogue Superman was to seed the clouds with synthetic kryptonite and have it rain down. So this works out with the Kryptonians. It's raining kryptonite on them. Their weekend, the Bat Boys, Gotham residents, all just manhandle the Kryptonians. Unfortunately, there's one of the Kryptonians, Vale, the one I mentioned earlier, one I mistakenly called the leader, wants to get between Laura's legs, and they're not at the shindig in Gotham. And when they realize what's going on in Gotham, they show up. And because the rain at this point has stopped, the Kryptonians have had their asses handed to them, and Batman's like, chill. Let them go lick their wounds. We got this. We'll give them a chance. And Superman's like, no, we need to finish them. And by the way, Superman is in a mech suit. If you saw or read Dark Knight Batman Returns, Superman has a version of the bat armor, but made for Superman and totally encloses his face. So, and it's lead lined, so the kryptonite rain doesn't bother him. And they go and they do their thing. But Belle shows up. Kelly Carey is not, doesn't realize he's at full strength. And they tussle. Laura Kent shows up. She tussles. And Carrie Kelly flashing all the way back to Dark Knight Returns, breaks out the slingshot, except she's got a kryptonite pebble, and she pops Homeboy in the face and melts, just Harvey Dent style, just melts the side of his face. So why it didn't go all the way through his skull and kill him, don't know. I guess that's so the story can happen. Laura is still drinking the Kool-Aid at this point, and she's getting ready to hand Carrie Kelly her ass when Wonder Woman shows up. Wonder Woman is like, look, you're my daughter, I love you, but I gotta spank that ass, and commences to do so. Everybody flees. The Kryptonians find out that Laura has a younger brother, and they decide they want him too. And at this point, Laura's starting not to enjoy the Kool-Aid so much. She's still drinking it, but not near as much. And so they go to Themyscira. And they send Laura in first. But they have, they have a force ready to fight if they need to. Because they think they know the Amazons are human, but they don't realize they're magically enchanted humans. And wiping Kryptonians off the planet is not going to be that hard of a task for them. So Laura goes in, tries to kidnap Jonathan. Doesn't work so well. She decides, well, you know what? Maybe she's talking to Wonder Woman. She's like, well, maybe you and Dad are right. And you have this battle that ensues between the Kryptonians and the Amazons. And the Amazons basically hand the Kryptonians their asses. So the Kryptonians our number of Kryptonians have been whittled way down by this point. So they flee. Something I forgot to mention at the Battle of Gotham is one of the Kryptonians who didn't get his ass handed to him, who's restoring his strength, zaps Batman, and with his heat vision, basically ending Batman's life, or what we think. Superman scoops him up and takes off. And Bruce Wayne's like, no hospitals. And promise me no hospitals. And Clark is like, yeah, okay, no hospitals. But Clark has other things in mind. So Clark has Batman's body and they're flying. He's flying at just hellish speed. And deposits Batman into a Lazarus pit. For those people that don't know a lot about the mythology, the Lazarus pits are used by Ra's al Ghul and the Brotherhood of Assassins, or Legion of Assassins. Their names changed a little bit over the years, but and then basically it has the power just to do that. Bring you back from the dead, restore youth, all this. Right. So, the only thing is when you first come out of the pit, for a while, you're kind of crazy. In like a psychopath crazy way. So, Superman drops him in the Lazarus pit. He comes out of the Lazarus pit. Thank God Superman, because Bruce Wayne's all crazy for a little while. He chills out. He chastises Superman for doing that to him, for restoring him, bringing him back, giving him his youth back. Now he's a Batman of about 20 years old, which is real convenient because Carrie Kelly's 19. And she likes older men. So they go back. They have a handful of Kryptonians. The leader of the Kryptonians is talking about we're gonna take all our pills and we're gonna blow your planet up. Screw you all. All we wanted was to love you, and you don't want us to love you. So we're gonna blow you off the planet. And basically, at this time, Ray Palmer shows back up, provides a distraction. The Kryptonians freak out and they start blowing each other up, shooting each other, and then Superman shows up. Our newly formed 20-year-old Batman is on the ground, and he is watching this. He's watching Superman, and for the very, very first time, he sees Superman not holding anything back. Not soft shoeing, nothing. Just he's going full on Kryptonian superpowers. And it is at that point that Bruce Wayne realizes that Superman let the last two comics that Superman let him live, let him beat him. His moral code wouldn't allow him to do what he needed to do to beat Batman. But smashing these other Kryptonians, and the day gets saved. So we have a series of panels where basically Wonder Woman's like, look, there are certain things, aspects about being Kryptonian you need to talk to your dad about. And she's like, oh, okay. So we get these panels of just Superman in his Clark Kent uniform. He's like, I gotta go to work. He's doing the reporter thing. And they're talking. And he's like, you got any questions? And she's like, yeah, what about sex? Hormonal, puberty-driven Kryptonian girl. And Clark is like, what? She's like, what about sex? You know, fucking. And he's like, look, never with a human being, because they are too fragile, too weak, and it's not good for, it will not end well for them. And that's kind of where it's left. When we go to the Batcave, we have a younger Batman wearing the classic gray with gray suit, the black bat, and the classic Batman colors. Then Carrie Kelly shows up and announces basically she's Batwoman, wearing the inverse, black, where black suit, gray bat, great hat, where Batman has black highlights, she has gray highlights. And you're basically, through the narration after he gets restored in the Lazarus pit, basically they're gonna have sex, which is Frank Miller all over again. It's what Frank Miller does. So that is basically the rundown of Batman Master Race. Thank you for joining this. I wished I could have got this all into one 20-minute video instead of 2 videos, but it is what it is. And until next time, people, remember, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.